Okay, so basically with developing the smartphone, it all came from, I didn't have a phone growing up. So I was always told that a phone is into abantu abadala. It's for old people, and you can't have a phone as a young person. What are you going to do with the phone? So for me, it was a thing where I need to make that for people like me. It's not everyone in the government that's the problem. It's certain individuals that are working for the government that are pushing their own agendas, I would say. Because you might say, Sandile, that you're applying for funding for a certain business like this, right? And that admin person there tells you can't get it. But you go to another admin person and that person says you're gonna get it. In the future, we are looking at, let's just give 5 years. 5 years, we're looking at 2 continents that we've expanded to, which means we're looking at the BRICS markets as a main target. We're looking at Brazil, we're looking at South America, we're looking at Asia as well as a market that we can actually explore and make sales there. We've spoke to the French embassy to expand in France as well.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Izinto Zabelungu, where we dive deep into the fascinating stories of creators who have taken control of their lives and livelihoods. Today, we are joined by Lesley Ncube, who is a phone developer. Lesley, thank you so much for making time to stop by, man. So let me just ask you to introduce yourself first, Lesley.
Okay, so my name is Lesley Ncube, and I am, I'm quite a complicated person. I would say that I am both creative and both a lover of education and you know, and also political person because of my upbringing. My father was I was a big ANC supporter, so he taught me politics. And you know, it's funny because now I'm in business now, but actually the reason why I was interested in this topic of business is because my father used to always, when I was on my TV, and then with some man who track and policy, my father would always you know, so always he's watching business news, he's watching this. So we are always watching news growing up. So that's how I found out about these guys, about Bill Gates and all those guys, because of watching those news. So I think I was very influenced by my parents growing up. My parents were Christians, so I was raised in a Christian family from birth. That's just basically who I am.
So what inspired you to pursue computer science, and what sparked your interest in developing?
Firstly, when I was growing up, I was a sports player. I played all types of sports, cricket, soccer, rugby, all those sports. So when I grew up, I thought I was going to be a soccer player. So I thought ballers for me. I played with Academy, Vids, and Nichomo Cosmos. Almost played for Pirates as well. I thought I was basically going to be a soccer player. But at the back of my mind, I always had this thing of saying that if I'm actually going to impact the world the way I want to, I'm not going to do it through sports. It's not going to happen like that. I can impact it very well, but I could do more if I was a businessman and I had a business of some sort that I could build and do. And when I looked at all the businesses that were there, the most interesting thing is like these guys are really changing the world. These technology guys are really impacting the world, and I wanted to be that. That's what I wanted to be.
Can you just walk us through the process of designing and developing your smartphone?
Okay, so basically with developing the smartphone, it all came from, I didn't have a phone growing up. So I was always told that a phone is into abantu abadala. It's for old people, and you can't have a phone as a young person. What are you going to do with the phone? So for me, it was a thing where I need to make that for people like me who had that same experience, but we don't just want any phone, right? We want a quality phone. So for me, when I went to school and I studied computer science, you can imagine we were, now that I think back to it, we actually slept matunin, right? Late applications for school. We slept like matunin. Next to UT, there's like a matuna next to it, the main campus. So we had to sleep there overnight and then go in the morning so that we can be first in line to go in there. So that experience of choosing computer science, I actually wanted to do architecture at first. That was my first choice because I had a very bad experience with IT in high school. I thought my teacher was quite, I don't know if it was bad or us who were not listening. But I decided to choose that because I thought that's where I can actually incorporate many things. You can do architecture. You can develop things for architecture in IT. You can develop things for software for sports in IT. So this is a subject where it's for everything, So I thought this is the perfect way to impact life and change my life, so to speak. So when I started developing a smartphone in 2014, I thought I don't just want to make any phone, right? So I spoke to a Chinese company that I got in contact with then, and I told them I'll work for you. I will work for free if I have to. I will put in. I have developer skills at that time. I'm a student. Just teach me how to make a smartphone. And then they taught me all the process of PCB design and designing the actual circuit board of the motherboard and all the components that go into a smartphone. And that's how I actually got into developing smartphones. Yeah, from then on I've been partners with them. Now we're partners. I was working for them for free, then for pay, and then became partners after.
How does your smartphone and your software differ from the existing products?
First of all, quality design. We don't compromise when it comes to quality. We would rather lose market, what you call this, profit on our end, just to make sure that the customer gets the best experience that you have. So that's the first thing that's different from us. When we develop, we look at what the customer needs at a low level, because we develop phones for first-time employees, students, high school students as well. So those people usually can't afford phones that cost 30,000 Rand. It's just ridiculous for them to buy a phone that, even if you're buying it in installments, 1,000 a month. We decided, no, why not use the best software? Why not use Android 13 on a phone that costs 2,000, 4,000 Rand? That's why we had to get the, it's not that they don't want to use it or they don't want to develop such a product. They have other products that they are promoting. So we can't sell our phone that costs 30,000 if we put all the software and all the features on a phone that costs 2,500 Rand. So we do not do that. We don't do that. So we don't compromise on quality.
One of the biggest challenges that startup companies face today is funding. How did you secure funding for your smartphone development?
Okay, so when I started the smartphone, it was to the funding to get the smartphones. Well, the material was there at school already. So we could do that whole research and development at school. That was not a problem. But when we actually started the business of making the smartphones when I was out of school, I actually worked and saved up a lot of money when I was working. Because, I mean, if you can imagine, I was just spending money on transport only. And then the rest I'm saving up for my business. So I did that and then also got a loan from the bank as well. That's how I actually funded myself to develop the first prototype of a smartphone. It didn't cost that much to start. I think it cost that much to mass produce. I think that's when we needed the actual cash injection. Yeah, but we actually got a loan from the bank to do that.
So I don't hear you mentioning the fact that you are getting support from the government. Are you getting any support from the government?
Currently now, no, not yet. We got support from our financial support. Let's just say financial support, no. But we do get a lot of support in terms of meeting clients and everything. Because remember, we are incubated by the Innovation Hub. We do work with CEDA. We do work with a couple of stakeholders in the government to promote. But I find it pretty strange that the most funding goes to, as to say, they're saying innovation. So when we have that backlash where it's like, oh, but this is not innovation, the smartphone, it already exists, right? So, and I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't exist in South Africa. You're talking about Samsung, a company from South Korea, you're speaking about Huawei, a company from China, but where is an African company doing what we are doing? So what type of innovation are we talking about? So it's all that I don't know, that global mindset that we have, that everything in the world belongs to us in a way that other countries don't look at it that way. Apple is America. When American government funds Apple, they're funding America, right? We don't have that yet until now.
Do you feel that you are being failed by the people who in the first place are supposed to be supporting you?
I would say yes, and also no, because it's not everyone in the government that's the problem. It's certain individuals that are working for the government that are pushing their own agendas, I would say. Because you might say, Sandile, that you are applying for funding for a certain business like this, right? And that admin person there tells you can't get it. But you go to another admin person and that person says you're gonna get it. So you are fighting people in the organization. There's people who don't want, why are you working for a funding agency if you're going to be or feel a bit of jealousy when you're funding a startup or a company that's sort of, why are you even there? Because the main thing why you're in that organization is to promote business. So if you don't want to promote business, why are you even in that area of work? Just go work for another company, go work for another organization that doesn't do that. Don't work for the IDC. Don't work for, if you don't want to promote business, don't work for companies in government that want to fund businesses. It's people pushing their own agendas in certain organizations where they shouldn't even be there. If you don't want to be funding businesses, don't work for a government or a bank, or because it's not, people always talk about money and stuff like that. Don't work for a bank if you don't want to see money. If you don't want to see people gaining money and getting money, don't work for a bank.
How do you then plan to compete with the established brands in this competitive market?
It's all about localization for us. We are not just in this for just competing with the more established brands out there. We just want to localize technology in Africa. So that's the main thing that we focus on. So for those people who see that in us, we are the business for you, for that consuming, because we have localized many things. We've localized the production of mango juice, so and so and so and so, but have we localized technology? We are in the fourth industrial revolution. We are not localizing technology. It is very dangerous. We didn't localize in the third industrial revolution the manufacturing of cars. We can't be happy that there's a new deal that they signed. I don't know which company, but they're building a plant here in South Africa. We can't be happy that we're building a plant for a company of Toyota, but we don't have our own Toyota. Toyota is a Japanese company. It's not ours. We need to look at things. Otherwise, Nigeria is doing what we should be doing now, actually, with more resources. The resources that we have. Nigeria has their own car company. They have their own startup unicorns already with Andela and Flutterwave as well. Do we have that? Why are we not having that? It's the fourth industrial revolution. Let's localize our technology. COVID happened and it was the biggest eye-opener in terms of localization, how much we actually need to make things on our own, because now what happens when we can't import things? We need to make things. We have all the resources. Let's make things, whether it's making a chair, let's make things on our own.
So why should customers choose your brand over more established brands like Samsung, Huawei, and Mobicel?
Different is good. That is our slogan. First of all, we don't compromise with quality. If you want a quality smartphone that doesn't compromise in terms of performance, then you choose us. That's how that's the best I'd say marketing I could ever give for my company. I mean, if you want the best quality, powerful smartphone that doesn't compromise and looks good, because you need a phone that looks good when you take it out. When you take it out, then you come to us. We will give you that.
So what inspired the name of your smartphone and the brand?
So at first we were what I would say online store, right? So we launched the online store first, where you can buy and sell things such as a OLX, if you were to say, or Amazon. So we launched that. So the whole concept of take in Zulu is Thatha. That's basically where it comes from. But the Shumi phone comes from soccer. Shumi is 10 in Zulu. So that's the best position you can have. That's the playmaker. And we're saying our phone is the playmaker.
So what has been the public response to your smartphone and the brand at large?
I would say the response so far is positive, because we've sold about 4,500 phones so far in the market, with our partnerships with the government as well, because we are also part of a government procurement process as well, project as well, which is quite large. So the public has responded well to our product, but we would like more support as South Africans. And as to say, we open our eyes. We have our own mangoes. Why are we buying mangoes from Brazil or somewhere else, right? We have our own phones. Why are we buying? So we need to be more supportive into the things that we are doing here in South Africa and take that to the world. So I would like more support from the public, yes, and I would also thank the support that we have received so far.
So how do you then plan to just build your brand awareness so that you can reach a wider audience?
We have a strategy that says B2B first and then B2C later. So we focus on business-to-business transactions most of the time, to later on venture into the public market, because a lot of marketing is required for the public market and it could burn a lot of costs. So it saves us quite a lot as a startup, especially as a manufacturing startup, because that's the main thing, because it takes about 5 to 10 years to build a manufacturing company. And you can't rush it, because you take all that money and you spend it on marketing, you won't have money for production next month. So we have to be very careful. So we have a B2B strategy. We get these partners, which is MTN, Telkom. We speak to them and we say we want large quantity orders. So you give us an order for 2,000 devices. We can do that for you. And then we focus on that rather than focusing on too much on the public market, where it will require us to spend a lot of money on marketing, but we won't have money for production next month. So we have to balance that out and grow gradually rather than grow quickly. It's more of a personal thing. I've always been a different person. I've always been misunderstood, so to say, because I would say I fit into a lot of environments, because I grew up in different environments. I moved around a lot when I was young. So that's when I was like, different is good, because you are good even if you are different. It's good to be different. It's not a weird thing anymore. It's not, you can be a specific type of person, but you can be a different person, where you probably fit into any environment because you've been in different environments. So difference is good.
So where can the public or other people buy your smartphone?
Currently now, you can get our smartphone at our website, www.thatha.co.za, or you can come to our factory and you can buy it there. Soon we will be in the MTN stores, we will be in the Telkom stores. We've been launching this plan since I think 2 years now. It's been 2 years for us to go into retail. So I think we are in a position now that maybe by the end of this year, we'll be getting into retail.
So talk to us about your distribution channels and your sales strategies.
Basically, we've done just over 5 million in revenue since we started. This year we are looking at doing about 30 million in revenue totally this year, after our orders and everything, with all the orders that we have so far. So it's not quite there as a technology startup yet, but we are gradually growing and we're creating 27 jobs currently. We'll be creating by the end of this year 50 jobs, yes, in total. So we're looking at next year probably potentially 100 jobs that are created by Thatha, and those are manufacturing technology jobs. So that just brings a smile to my face to actually do that in SA.
So how is your business doing now in terms of the strategy and growth?
In the future, we are looking at, let's just give 5 years. 5 years, we're looking at 2 continents that we've expanded to, which means we're looking at the BRICS markets as a main target. So we're looking at Brazil, we're looking at South America, or we're looking at Asia as well as a market that we can actually explore and make sales there. We've spoke to the French embassy to expand in France as well. So we are in the process of doing that, and London as well. So we want to be a global brand. That's the main target. We want to build a global brand that we can say in South Africa, someone in America is using this phone, and it's South African.
So what are the biggest challenges you face as a startup company, especially in the tech industry?
Okay, so the challenges will always be funding, the access to funding. It's not just the funding coming in at a specific time. It's all about timing. You know, when you're running a business and you're competing with businesses that are already established, they have finance to say, when we're doing something now, we do it now. You know, so we want that same appreciation as well, that same attention to what we're doing. If we're saying we need to expand our plant or do such a thing, when we say we give you we want to do this in 3 months, let's do it in 3 months. Let's not do it in 1 year, 6 months. And I think that's the major problem we face. Like, things come late, and now it seems like we can't deliver, but we can. But it's just the financing of it, aspects of it. It's coming in at a convenient time for them, or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe sabotage in a way internally from banks or whatever. But that needs to stop. Banks are making money out of us making money. Honestly, let's just be honest with that. So either way, they are benefiting from our finance because it's loans. We're paying them back with interest. So why are you taking 3 months to give us our loan that we need in 1 month? So let's just fix that as a country. We need to, access to funding needs to be instant. If a startup says, I want to build this and that, this new project, this new phone, this access to funding, the timing is everything. So if we can fix that, I think most of the challenges are gone in our country. Then we can focus on other challenges like, you know, access to the markets, clients, appealing to clients. Then we can focus on those problems. But the main problem that we need to fix is that timing is everything.
So as we wrap the interview, or rather the conversation, do you have any plans to partner with influencers so you can reach a wider audience?
Yes, I would say sports as one, because I was a sports player myself. So I understand the discipline that comes with sports, and I feel like it matches the brand, since this brand was made based on who I am. So who I am was sports. I watch sports. Most of my free time goes to sports. So I will partner up with. I feel like a lot of attention is not. A lot of sponsors are missing in soccer, and I feel like that's the sport that we're actually targeting the most. Soccer. We want to sponsor soccer teams. So if soccer teams want to approach us, they must. We are willing to do that. We're willing to do that.
Thank you so much, Lesley. We really appreciate your presence here. That was Lesley Ncube, who is the developer and the owner of the Thatha smartphone. Don't forget to follow us and subscribe to our channel.